political situations in other countries, and it's very effective in producing the one world government, which we know is a stated agenda of the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and many other of these people that call themselves the elite. I call them the criminal elite.
Right.
But it, without a doubt, is very effective in achieving their goals.
Very true. Very true. Unfortunately, those results are not beneficial to human life, and they are not harmonic with the Earth's natural frequencies. So there seems to be a divergence of opinion about what needs to happen here on this planet in order to control it, and those of us who see that that is not an option if we want to continue to thrive, if we actually want to thrive, period, and break through the chains that are now binding us and live freely, not tied down to monetary systems and not slaves to corporations and not controlled by invisible boogeymen who think that they have the right to play God with all of us little people. So movies like yours are so important to get out there because you have meticulously laid the groundwork for allowing people to see the truth in a very step-by-step practical way. You go all the way into the political system, and it's a very gentle process. I love your movie, to be honest with you, and I look forward to the ones that you're going to be doing because this is such an important piece of information for everybody to begin to wake up to.
Yes, it absolutely is, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. These programs consolidate power into the hands of a few, and geoengineer David Keith said a little less than a year ago that geoengineering gives man godlike power. So you spoke about freedom, and I love the America that was created, which we have no more, which was a free country. And you know, when we went out to film in Hawaii, it was incredible because 5 days we stayed on an organic farm, and it was real interesting because when I got there, Lance, the next day I woke up and I was really hungry, and I asked the folks on the farm, I said, you know, I could get some food? And they started laughing, and they said, look around. And I said, what do you mean? They said, it's all around you. Just pick your breakfast off of a tree. And it really blew my mind because what I had learned, the people that live on that farm, they live freely and independent. They're not dependent on corporations for food at all. They're dependent on nature. The concern after being there, and I really admire their lifestyle. It was just a very free lifestyle. But we do know that soils around the world are being contaminated, and I actually interviewed many organic farmers in Hawaii, many of them seeing up to a 50% decline in their ability to grow certain natural organic crops. That video can be found on my website, truthmediaproductions.us. But what the concern is there, again, the soils are being toxified. We know the aluminum is there. A public official tested 30 rain tests, all showing the contamination of aluminum, barium, strontium, which is called by many the geoengineering footprint. But if they are now, or in the future, going to be dependent on this new aluminum-resistant GMO seed, the concern is, what is their lifestyle going to be like? And to get those seeds, which we know many of them are terminator seeds, what will they have to do? Will they have to give up rights? Will they have to take classes? And Lance, that truly is the end of freedom.
Oh, yeah. No question about it.
This is their end game.
Yes. Yes, you really brought up one of the most important connections in this, which I hadn't remembered until you mentioned it again, was that one of the big companies is developing the seeds that are terminator seeds. They do not reproduce, and so the farmers are forced to to register with Monsanto and other companies. They're not the only ones that are doing this in unison. And they're genetically modified have been developed to be resistant to aluminum. And that was something I just found out recently. And how could they know? This is a question that one has to ask oneself. How would they know to develop plants, organic, living, breathing, spirit-filled plants that have life? How would they know to make them resistant to something that was being sprayed that we're not even supposed to know about? So that's an interesting question. Did you make inroads into that process and finding out more about that?
Well, we know that it's a patent, and it's owned by the USDA and the Brazilian government, and it was issued in 2008. So we're not sure if it's out on the market yet, but without a doubt there is a design, and somebody had just the remarkable foresight to see that this might be an issue in the future. So, as some of these companies say, we're here to provide an abundance of food to the world, but we know what they're here to do is to control the food of the world, and it gives these corporations godlike power. And what they're doing, they're changing and corporatizing natural systems. So we see what they want is every living plant to be under this corporate umbrella, and they want all of our resources, our land, our water, and now our weather. What they're doing, Lance, is corporatizing our weather. And it's deeply concerning. They're changing natural systems so that they can have godlike power. They're usurping the authority of creation and the authority of nature, so that one day in the near future, and people are already worshiping this governmental corporate conglomerate that works together. I call it the beast.
Right.
You can call it whatever you want, but
that works
it is
for me.
an unnatural system. But corporations don't gain money and power off of many people who live that free lifestyle in Hawaii, and they definitely want it to change. And that without a doubt is their goal, and that is their end game. So it's real important for those of us who are aware of this, not only to wake up, but to get active and get the word out. This is our planet. We all have a right to breathe fresh air. We all have a right to eat natural organic foods, and that right is being violated right now. And God, we have seen unquantifiable health effects and unquantifiable effects on our ecosystems as we see both collapsing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, I would guess that, and I don't have to guess, it's all been documented, that these substances do take their toll on the body because they cannot be eliminated, especially when there's fluoride and other things in the water and the food and in the air, as you mentioned, and the body can't eliminate those things. So a person who wants to be aware of these things and eliminate the fluoride, which calcifies the pineal gland and all the other glands that need to function in order for us to perceive things accurately, you almost have to go through an enormous detoxification process and to get these things out of your body, because our bodies, even in their infinite wisdom, are not able to naturally pull those things out of the system. It has to do with the polarity of the charge. So there are a lot of people studying this at the healing levels and working with that there to balance and restore the charge within the body, so that those things can be flushed out using simple substances like distilled water and so on. But have you seen people's health deteriorate? I mean, you've talked to so many people. The ones in Hawaii, for instance, they're on your film. Some of them are in your film, and it's a beautiful, but it's a sad story. And it's like the death of something that is really should never be tampered with. What did they find that has been happening to their bodies and their food and their land?
Well, as we stated before, the ability to grow natural organic foods has dramatically declined. That has been illustrated. And then crops that require an acidic soil to grow are starting to die as well, because aluminum, barium, and strontium will change the pH of the soil from acidic to alkaline. So we're seeing, pretty advanced destruction of forests as we see them collapsing around the world, and then our food supply. But from the health aspect, we spoke about the people up in Mojave County. Many of them had very, very high levels of barium, but even on the organic farm when we filmed, there was a 3-year-old who never had a vaccine but grew up on that organic farm. Her aluminum levels were way off the chart. So there's no doubt that it's in our air. And when we breathe these particles in, they're submicron, 0.2 of a micron. And naturally, as you know, our bodies have defense mechanisms. They go right past it. And you had mentioned fluoride. Typically, we have a blood-brain barrier. These particles go right past it, and fluoride acts as a transporter of aluminum. So together, it goes right into our brain. And as you know, we interviewed a physician who specializes in aluminum toxicity, and she was deeply concerned about GeoEngineer's plans, stating that aluminum is accumulative. So what it will do, it gets into the body and it locks down natural systems. It's very toxic to neurological systems. We've seen an incredible increase in aluminum-related illnesses. One of them is Alzheimer's, which in Riverside County has seen over a 260% increase, and I believe just a very short, like a 10-year period, so it's skyrocketing. Other aluminum-related illnesses are skyrocketing as well. Respiratory mortality went from number 8 on the list of mortality down to number 3 in the past 6 years. So we've seen a huge jump with that. Of course, barium lowers our immune system, so we will see a bunch of other illnesses come in, a bunch of cancers and many other things when our immune system is depleted. So it's, again, the health effects are just unquantifiable in terms of what we're seeing, and it's just very, very sad. Now, I think it's important to note on heavy spray days, we had a pretty heavy spray day here in LA, and I think up north, you guys were getting hit pretty hard yesterday and the day before as well.
Yes,
but a lot of people just initially complain of headaches, nausea, irritability, burning eyes. But then, I've spoken to some emergency room physicians that say their emergency rooms are packed during heavy spray days. And again, barium increases our blood pressure, so they see an increase in strokes and heart attacks. So it's deeply concerning to us, and we often wonder how people can actually be involved with this. There are definitely 2 tiers of people. There are the people who benefit from this godlike power. Again, I call them the criminal elite. But then there are also people who are flying airplanes, loading up the planes, designing these systems. And, my guess is that they really are unaware of how much damage they're doing. And that was one of the reasons for producing the film, really to reach out to them and let them know what's going on, how the agents and other people who are protecting these programs, how they can't realize that it's harming them and then also their loved ones.
That's right.
And I think it's real important that we let them know what you're doing is protecting programs that are hurting you and your family. So I really want to make an appeal out to that group of people and let them know we're on your side. We're doing this to help you. So question who you work for. Question what you're doing. It's, the old saying, well, I'm just doing my job. I always say, have you ever questioned if your job is right or wrong? And what that tells me is people are willing to do some really horrific things for money, because that's what it comes down to. And I'm telling you, these programs are so destructive. I really hope and pray that these people start questioning and then make the difficult choice of leaving their job and coming over to our side to fight this tyranny, to fight these crimes, because we really need them. We really do.
Yes, I can't agree with you more on that, Michael. And I think anybody that has a conscience left to be active will see the truth of what you're saying and will be able to hear it. And once you hear it, you can't shut it off. So those people